The first time I saw her, she was running across the university quad like she owned every inch of sunlight touching her. Morning light poured over the grass and brick buildings, scattering gold across the campus, but somehow she outshone all of it. A fit, confident, energetic 25-year-old student, with voluminous curls that bounced with every stride. She sprinted ahead, then twisted around to look at me and waved me forward with playful urgency. Her whole expression said, "Come on, keep up," and I felt myself drawn toward her. Without hesitation, I tried to match her pace, but something about the way she moved so loose, so joyful left me breathless long before I reached her. When I finally caught up, she laughed in a bright, warm way and tugged gently at my backpack strap, as if she had been waiting for me all along. She traveled through the world like it was a story she already loved, and the rest of us were just now opening the first page. Later that day, I saw her again, as though the world wanted to underline her presence in my life. Golden light streamed through tall hallway windows, and students drifted past us in soft, unfocused motion. She stood centered in that glow, shoulders strong, presence steady, her curls forming a sunlit halo around her. When our eyes met, she held my gaze without hesitation, offering a soft, admiring smile that reached all the way into her eyes. For a moment, we talked about classes and schedules, the simple, everyday details of being students. But when I walked away, her voice stayed with me, as if it belonged inside my memory. There was something magnetic in the way she spoke, a mix of genuine interest and easy confidence. It wasn't just what she said, but how she said it, with a rhythm that made me want to listen for hours. In the days that followed, we kept crossing paths, again and again, pulled together by something quiet and persistent. Maybe it was coincidence, or maybe she was finding reasons to appear at the right moments. Either way, I welcomed every one of them. Each meeting felt like another piece of a puzzle falling into place. There was the time she found me in the library, supposedly lost, but with a grin that betrayed her true intent. She leaned over my textbook, her hair brushing my cheek, and whispered a joke so quietly only I could hear it. The world outside of our small bubble of laughter ceased to exist. Another time, we ended up in the same coffee line, and she paid for my drink before I could even reach for my wallet, insisting it was her turn to treat a future study buddy. Her generosity was as natural as her smile. One evening, after a study session that barely involved studying, we wandered outside under the gentle, amber light of a street. The night sky had turned deep blue, and the campus around us felt peaceful and slow. We sat close on a bench, our shoulders brushing, then resting together. She leaned in just a little, asking silently if it was okay. I leaned in too, and our arms wrapped around each other with an ease that surprised me. Her curls glowed with rim light, and for a long, still moment, we simply held each other, breathing in rhythm with the quiet night. The strangest part was how familiar the safety felt, as if I had known it for years instead of days. In that embrace, surrounded by the sleeping campus, the world felt simple. There was no past, no future, just this single, perfect moment suspended in time. Her head rested against my shoulder, and I could feel the soft, steady rise and fall of her breathing. It was the most profound sense of peace I'd ever known. A few afternoons later, we found ourselves sitting on the grass in the campus park, our books forgotten beside us. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating shifting patterns across her face as she laughed. Her laugh was so sincere it shook her shoulders and sent her curls tumbling forward. I reached out to push her hair back behind her ear, and she caught my hand for a moment, teasing, before letting me tuck the loose curls into place. Her cheeks warmed with a shy, happy glow. "You always look at me like you're writing something," she said, her voice soft. "Maybe I am," I answered, without thinking. She smiled in a way that said she would wait for the meaning when I was ready. In that moment, I realized I was documenting every detail, the way the sun caught the gold flecks. In her eyes, the sound of her laugh, the feeling of a hand in mine. She wasn't just a person I was getting to know. She was becoming the main character of a story I never wanted to end. Our days began to bleed into one another, a watercolor painting of shared moments. We discovered a mutual love for old movies, spending rainy afternoons curled up on her couch, quoting lines we both knew by heart. We found a hidden path behind the science building that led to a small, forgotten garden, which became our private sanctuary. We'd sit there for hours, talking about everything and nothing. Gour, childhoods, our dreams, our fears. She told me about growing up in a small town, always feeling like she was meant for something bigger. I told her about my passion for writing, a secret I rarely shared. She listened with an intensity that made me feel seen, truly seen. For the first time, she didn't just hear my words. She understood the feelings behind them. I learned that her confidence wasn't arrogance. It was a deep-seated belief in the good of the world and in herself. She approached every challenge with an optimism that was infectious. When I was stressed about an exam, she wouldn't just offer empty platitudes. Instead, she'd make flashcards, quiz me until I knew the material backward and forward, and then celebrate my eventual success as if it were her own. She had this incredible ability to lift others up, to make them believe in their own strength. It was a gift one she gave freely and without expectation. I started to see the world through her eyes, a place filled with more possibility and less doubt. One night, we stayed up late, sitting on the roof of her apartment building, looking out at the city lights. The air was cool, and she had wrapped a blanket around our shoulders. We were quiet for a long time, just watching the endless stream of headlights moving below. "What are you thinking about?" she finally asked, her voice a low murmur against the hum of the city. I hesitated, trying to find the words. "I'm thinking," I began slowly, "that before I met you, my world was in black and white. You brought the color." She turned to look at me, her expression unreadable in the dim light. Then, a slow smile spread across her face. She leaned in and pressed a gentle kiss to my cheek. "Good," she whispered, "because my world was a little too quiet before you showed up." It was in these small, quiet confessions that our connection solidified. It wasn't built on grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but on the steady foundation of mutual understanding and shared vulnerability. We were two people who had been navigating the world on our own, and in finding each other, we found a partner for the journey. That feeling of running to catch up to her on the quad never really went away. But now, it wasn't about trying to match her pace. It was about the joy of running alongside her, stride for stride, toward a future that felt brighter and more exciting than anything I could have ever imagined on my own. The story of us was just beginning, and I knew, with every fiber of my being, that it was going to be a beautiful one. Thanks for watching, and I hope this story brought a little warmth to your day. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories like this one. It means the world to me. Until next time.